Shalom Israel. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, that were unto the apostles and those great millstone for teaching us the truth, peace, and blessings to the whole collective Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father in Hebrew. Bahashem means the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the unbegotten Son. Back in lesson, and today you're going to go into the great wrath that the devils are preparing to come down with, as you are seeing them creating these different robots, especially behind the scenes and the things that are not showing you, and ultimately what they're preparing to come down with, in these last days to use against the men of the Lord, creating Iron Man-like suits of armor, creating super soldiers. But as the scriptures go to, Yahweh Bashemashai is going to lift that standard against our enemy and bestow power upon his men to defend and to protect them, as well as to tread upon our enemy in that day. The Lord's will were of that number and are those men. Because spiritual power will be needed. I mean, look at the things that these devils are creating. And things that they're not even showing you, man. But they are, prideful. They'll show you their future plans and things that they want to do in these movies, these cartoons, and TV shows, which you're about to see right here in this trailer that I got. And this movie I recently watched, a couple hours ago, man. Which is named Monsters of Men. And only Esau would think to create something like this, man. Showing you that he is the devil the Bible speaks of, as well as the wicked. So I play this quick video right here, as well as touch on a little bit another video got on TikTok, just to go into these killer drones and all these things that these devils will be using coming into these last days, man. Because once again, these devils are preparing to come down with that great wrath and bring that hammer down. And once again, that power will be needed, a divine intervention. The Lord's gonna step in, man, and you'll see why.
Dropping a secret team of robots into a country that we're not supposed to be in. It got serious the moment it was thought up.
Where are they?
Gotta get out of here.
Where? Where?
Take them all down. No witnesses.
This is not a circus. We need to know what the hell is going on here.
Stop it! What do you want?
What am I?
Come on! Are you seeing this?
And you're a soldier of death.
So are you! You were made by humans to affect death!
You were made by humans.
We're different! I'm a man! I have life! You're a fucking machine!
Hey, there you go. But they show you in these movies of why these robots are a bad idea. For example, iRobot, with Will Smith, as well as Terminator. Because in this movie right here, you see that robot that at the last scene, gains, self-awareness, this artificial intelligence. Which I believe they had over there in China, I think it was like a couple years ago, if I'm correct. But a few robots, either 3 or 4 of them, but one of them was left alive, or half alive, but he connected to a satellite, and started to rebuild itself, man. So they, completely destroyed it and all that, which I believe those robots killed, I believe, like 30 plus scientists, if I'm correct. Which I need to, look back on it, but I think I touched on it in a few of my lessons going into it. But just goes to show an example of what these devils are preparing to bring the hammer down with, man. But let's go back into this video right here. just another example of what they show you in these movies and TV shows of the things that they have in store and things that they plan to use. Which I believe this is the show Black Mirror, which you can see tons of symbolism in the shows and things that they are planning to implement and all that. So, get it right here.
Is 3 grams of sheep explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? The team. They can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half.
But hey, there you go. Which I believe there's another interview dealing with Elon Musk. He was asked a question: are killer drones possible? You know, he jumped at the question and described, and broke down how to create them. You know, you can take the Face ID scanner off the iPhone, slap it on a drone with, explosives, and, basically do grid sweeps and track and find whoever, is needed to be found. As well as all these robots, which going back to that trailer, because in the movie, just a little spoiler alert, it's not really a spoiler. You see in many movies of these robots able to track down and scan faces and all that. For example, Terminator. If you've seen Terminator before, but these are the things that they're preparing to come down with, man, to especially target and go for the men of the Lord. Because these devils will come for us, man. And there's another reason why Yahweh Shemashah is going to bestow power upon his men to defend and to protect them in the midst of all this chaos that's going to erupt. Because it's gonna get very, very serious out here, man. And these devils know who's teaching this truth. Another example, if you which was a while back, but they would place certain stickers on people's mailboxes to show who's with this system, who's in agreement with it. Which you see right here, it says FEMA marking mailboxes with colored stickers. FEMA is marking mailboxes with colored dots to indicate the disposition of residents in the NWO to show who's with it, who's not with it, who's going to be a problem. So these devils already know our faces, who's teaching this truth. So it's going to be implanted within these robots to target the men of the Lord. But once again, Yahweh Shemashah is going to defend and to protect his men. Now, it says FEMA is marking mailboxes with colored dots to indicate disposition of residents in the NWO, which we just saw. But of course, they're going to do damage control and say it's nothing to do with that. But let's continue on. Jump to the scriptures. I don't think this is a super long lesson. But this is Genesis 27:39 through 40. To go into Esau Edom's blessing, which is the fatness of the earth, as well as the sword, which he's living by. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. Also go to show who is in power today. Going back to Job 9:24, Esau Edom. As in, by thy sword shalt thou live, and he is living by that sword. I mean, look at the things those are creating. All these different robots, these weapons, these advancements that they have made, ultimately to be used against the man Lord and Yahweh Shemashah. Creating a space force and satellites that are able to shoot laser beams from space. Thinking that they have a chance against the Lord, man. But the Lord is going to show you true power in that day. Just when these devils think that they have you in a corner, that they have their grasp on you, that they have you in checkmate, Yahweh Shemashah is going to flip the table on them, man. He's going to flip that switch. Which you get later on in the lesson, going to that power the Lord is going to bestow upon his men. But then by that sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. Shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Job 9:24 to add more onto it. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Now who is the wicked? Esau Edom, the so-called white man of the day. Now it says the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Who else could it be other than Esau Edom, man? So-called white man. But now let's dive into the scripture right here to go into there's a great route the devils are preparing to come down with. Because once again, they're not creating these robots just to lollygag and play around, to bag groceries, to open doors. Because they show you in iRobot to where they had robots, helping the elderly, doing basic necessities, or basic deeds, for lack of better words. And you saw pretty much near the end of the movie, they all went AWOL, man. Went crazy, weren't listening to commands or orders. As you saw near the end of that movie in that trailer we just played, which is another reason why it's a bad idea and why these devils need to be taken out, and also why, once again, spiritual power will be needed, man. Had some very evil and scary and serious times, and once again, Yahweh Shai is the only way out from this, man. Because those that continue to believe and remain faithful and endure, Yahweh Shai will protect and defend them. We hope and pray that we're of that number. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that do on them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil which is Esau Edom once again, this requirement the day is given unto you, is come down to you, having great wrath, because they know that he had but a short time. So these devils know they're running out of time. They're on the clock. That's why you see them trying to rush and implement their plans and put them into action as fast as possible. Dealing with these mandates, restrictions, the implementation of this beast system, usher in the MOTB, as you see how they're slowly conditioning and preparing people by the way of these different apps that are, pushing towards a more digitized system, as well as, the persuasion and the so-called benefits of having robots, in your own home, or whatever the case may be, man. And it's also not a coincidence that you see the police have been given authorization to use killer robots as so-called last resort. As you have been seeing them, want to implement that purge law over there in Illinois. I mean, come on, bro. And you think they're not going to use these robots, to gain more control, to have order? Order out of chaos, causing all these problems and bringing the so-called solution, establishing order out of it. Jeremiah 13:7, the last day is great, so that none is like it. We're having some times that have never been seen before in history, showing you how bad and great the judgment is going to be, as well as these miracles that the Lord is going to perform. Now, we try my last for that day is great, so none is like it. These been times of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. As you saw the last part, but he shall be saved out of it. Yahweh Shai is going to defend and protect his men in the midst of all this chaos, man. And deliver them. As you see right here, Isaiah 59:19. But again, miracles will be performed. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west and the glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, shall lift up a standard against them. Lord is going to lift a standard against our enemy in these coming times. As you saw right there, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, as you read, speaking too fast, slack it. As we read in Revelations 12:12, the great wrath that they're going to come down with. As you also see right here, how they're going to come down as a flood, man. So they will come for us. They show you in these movies, these cartoons. If you've seen the movie, the show Invincible, definitely recommend watching. How they came for Omni-Man, wearing invisible suits, trying to take him out. And you especially see, kind of a spoiler, but in the show, they're trying to do all these different tests and trying to create all this different technology, super soldiers, all these different things in order to try to take out Omni-Man, to try to, stand a chance against them. As you see what these devils are doing today, creating all these different robots, super soldiers, in order to try to go against, the elect men in these last days. Creating a space force to try to go against the Lord and the angels in those vehicles. These devils are through, man. The Lord has covered all the routes of escape. You're not hiding from nor escaping your judgment. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west and the glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against them. So Yahweh Bahashim Shai is going to bestow power upon his men that continue to believe, that continue to endure and remain faithful throughout this time of trouble. As we read in Jeremiah 13:7. The time of our trouble, man. So our faith is going to be tried and we're going to be tested. Many of our people are going to crack under that pressure that's going to be applied, man. bend the knee and take the so-called easy way out, taking the charagma, trusting in these devils, we're just going to bite you in the ass. Because we have faith in our God, man, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to take care of us, to protect, to defend us, especially in the midst of this famine that's coming and this chaos that's going to erupt, especially when these devils come for us, man. Jeremiah 16:16. Now watch this. Behold, I'll send for many fishers, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that shall fish them. And now who are those fishers that's speaking of? The prophets, the men of the Lord. What does that bait? The Bible, this truth, this word, this knowledge and understanding. Now it says, and after I'll send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and of the holes of the rocks. So pretty soon those fishers are going to be turned into those hunters. Power will be bestowed upon the Lord's men to tread upon our enemy in that day, and Lord willing, we're of that number and are those men. But as you were here, you're going to have these devils try to escape and flee from their judgment. As I recently made a lesson going to these devils trying to hide in these deep underground military bases, these bunkers, these doom preppers. You're not going to escape. As I said earlier, the Lord has covered all routes of escape, man. Isaiah 40:31. To go into this, an example of type of power the Lord can bestow upon his men. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Now, what do birds do before they prepare to take flight? They mount up their wings, man. So the ability to fly. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Also, dealing with super speed, for example, Superman. But instead of just one Superman, a bunch of Supermen, 144,000 of them, man. These devils will stand no chance, man. And which, as I kind of mentioned earlier, just when these devils think that they have you in their hands, in their grasp, that they have you checkmated, that they have you in a corner, that's when Lord, we're going to flip that switch, man. The Lord's going to show you true power in that day once again. Isaiah 54:17. Because none of the weapons that they have will work against the Lord's elect. These laser weapons, these super soldiers that they are creating. Because there's a recent article that went into these devils creating super soldiers, man. And we say when we say these things, people call us crazy. They don't do that. The military is not that advanced. That's years from now, and that. But of course, they're not going to tell you every single bits and pieces, of their, for lack of better words, secret weapons, and things that they have behind the scenes that they've been working on and plan to use coming these last days in times of Jacob's trouble, especially to target the men of the Lord. Come on. But they'll give you a little sprinkle, a little taste of what they got, within these movies, and especially in real life, with these, kind of, I won't say low class, but, these robots that they have, showcased. But Isaiah 54:17 now says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So none of these weapons that these devils have will work against the men of the Lord. As if you've seen the, kind of old Superman movie, where they're on that building and they have that minigun, just, shooting and loading on Superman's chest, and all the bullets are just bouncing off. Nothing that they have will work. These laser weapons that they are creating, which I kind of touched on earlier in my lessons, going to that laser platoon that they have, because they are preparing for a fight and to defend this attack that's coming. But there's no escaping it, man. And there's no defending against it. Luke 10:19. As they behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So hey, you are through. Let's kind of get Wisdom of Solomon also. Another example of spiritual power, Wisdom of Solomon 3:7. That in the time of their visitation they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. And you know how fast you got to be to create sparks, amongst the ground. For example, you've seen the movies, or the CW Flash, or just Flash in general. Every time he runs, he's creating sparks, man, from how fast he's running. Just another example of this type of power the Lord is going to bestow upon his men that continue to believe and to endure and remain faithful, man. Now, these are the last few scripts I got, and we'll close it out from there. Kind of a short lesson through the Spirit. I was recently watching that movie. There's a kid in my head, type of thing that those are creating and we'll be using these last days. Because in that movie, they're behind the screen programming these robots of what they want to do to take out that village, which you'll see in the movie. I don't want to say too much spoilers, but once again, that's what they're preparing for, man. Let's see, Joshua 23:10. To add more onto it, because once I kind of mentioned earlier a few times, these devils are gonna think that they have you in their hands, that they got you in a corner. Like, I got you. That they have you checkmated. But once the Lord flips that switch and bestows that power, these devils will be able to do nothing, man. But we gotta have faith in Yahweh Bashmal Shai and the things he's about to do. Especially to those that believe, man. Joshua 23:10. Now it says, 1 man of you shall chase 1,000, for Yahweh Bashmal Shai, your God, He is that fighteth for you, as He had promised you. Which I believe was another scripture that went into put 10,000 fly. If I'm remembering correctly. I think it's right here. Deuteronomy 32:30. Let's see. I'll read the scripture, but you get the main point. Matthew 6:25. Because once again, these devils are going to come down with that great wrath, as you saw in one of my lessons, or if you've seen the movie Code 8, they would use these similar type of robots, which you see in that trailer we just played earlier, to track down, people with superpowers. They would use these robots to be able to combat and to go against the people with powers. As you see what these devils are ultimately preparing for, to go against the Lord's elect. It's why you see once again creating super soldiers, creating these different types of robots. They're able to have, heat sensors, or able to, scan your face. Matthew 6:25 says this, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body, what you shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? So Yahweh Basham Shai is going to take well care of his elect man in these last days, in the midst of this chaos, man, in the midst of the famine, the times of Jacob's trouble, especially when these devils come for us, man. There's nothing to fear. We have the one true living God, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, on our side, man. James 1:12. Blessed is the man that during temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised them that love him. So if we continue to endure these things, persecution, the hate, the demonization, and continue to remain faithful throughout these things, we will receive that crown of life, man. Because the Lord is also going to perform great miracles coming to these last days, man. The Lord may have it where He may, teleport you out of a situation, or have an angel protect you, or, bestow that power, man, which is coming very, very soon. As the Lord is turning up things around us, He's going to turn up His men to be able to keep up, But pretty much the main point. It's like if I kind of, went in circles, but Lord and I got the points together and hope and pray you're edified. But you see things the devils are trying to prepare for, what they're trying to do if you have eyes to see. They like to show you in these movies, cartoons, and TV shows of future plans and things that they want to do of these robots and things that they have in store, things that they have behind the scenes and will plan to use coming to these last days, especially against the men of the Lord, because they know who's teaching this truth. And ultimately, that's what they're going to be using it for, man. But once again, as we read in Isaiah 59:19, going to the standards that Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to lift against these devils, man. So have faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai, continue to believe and pray to Yahweh Bashim Shai to have mercy upon us coming to these last days, man, because it's going to get very, very serious, man. So I hope you're edified, due to give all praises on glory to Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash, Deborah and the apostles, give most of our teachings is truth, peace, and blessings to hope like Israel and Shalom. See you next one.